Hello and welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is a series where I get to talk a little bit about and touch base upon various mythological beasts, beings, and the like, pulled from lore worldwide. And I always like to preface by saying that I am not a linguist, so if I mispronounce anything, I do apologize in advance. And today I wanted to talk about the Koshchei. And essentially the Koshchei is a particular nefarious being from Russian folklore and Slavic folklore. And essentially this is this archetypal antagonist, this male antagonist character that serves as the rival, particularly a romantic rival, to a variety of hero-like characters. Now, the Koshchei kind of has this epithet that is the immortal or the deathless, because we'll be talking about that in a moment, but the Koshchei is almost this like sorcerer-like being, and the thing that most of the stories that refer to him agree is that he has the ability to cast a special spell that prevents him from being killed. And he does this by hiding his death into some kind of nested object. And what does that mean? Well, think about if you know or you're familiar with the Russian nesting dolls, where you open up a doll, there's another one, you open up a doll, there's another one, then you open up a doll, there's another one. Well, he pretty much uses a spell that he can nest an object within an object and within the object, and then the one that is hidden in that final piece, that's where his death is stored. So, for example, hopefully you're still following me with this, but one of the examples I read is that he can hide his death inside a needle, and hides that needle in an egg. And the egg is within a duck, and the duck is within a hare, and the hare is within a chest that is either locked or buried away, particularly on this faraway mythological island of Wibell. And so it's in the spell prevents him from dying, and he hides his death within a whole series of objects. It almost gave me a little bit of the Horcrux vibe, except that this one, it is an object within an object within an object versus a whole variety of objects themselves. But the result is pretty much the same. He is kind of immortal as long as this happens. And again, going back to the role of Koshchei, is that he is this antagonistic figure. He's a rival, a romantic rival traditionally to the male hero of whichever story is being told, where he will either compete against or try to entrap the hero himself so that he can win, the Koshchei can win the woman's love in these variety of stories. Now, there are some other interesting things about this kind of evil sorcerer, if you really want to consider him a sorcerer, but this magic casting character. One of which is, there is some theories that connect him with a historical figure. Now, again, these are loose links. There's nothing verifying that this is the true origin of the story, so keep that in mind. But there are links between the Koshchei and this Polovtsian leader called Koshchei, hopefully I pronounced that even remotely correct. And that person, that actual figure, lived in the 12th century. And so there's some interesting stories that kind of connect the two. Again, there's no proof in the matter. The Koshchei could have actually just come into being through stories and telling. And again, these I'm losing my train of thought. These just big sweeping contexts of you needing a villain in order to defeat in these stories. But going back to them, also another fun thing I thought of was the Koshchei's name. And I always love the etymologies of words and the names. And so the name itself is supposedly comes from a couple different words. One of them was a common verb, which translated either to harm or to dirty. I think that was kostit. And then it's at some point got remade and fused with the word for bone, which was cost. And so it essentially, the name loosely translates as the man exhausted by excessive thinness. And so the two big interpretations of that in a shorter form is the skinny person or the walking skeleton, which Obviously, the latter is very creepy if you think about it, and I have a skeletal sorceress in mind. At least the visual is kind of jarring. Now, there are a variety of specific tales of Koshchei, again, being this antagonistic character against a variety of these heroes of Slavic and Russian folklore. So if you're interested in any of those, I do suggest you to look them up and check them out. Outside of that, if you have any questions for me pertaining to this or anything else, post them in the comments below or reach out to any of my social media. And until next time, Skol.